Just gonna go over division. We just started division and how we can see word problems, solve for them, and what they might represent. What's in the word problem. Now the strategy we've been using is the three read protocol. After you read it the first time, what is the story about without any numbers, the main idea. After reading it the second time, trying to figure out the quantities and units, being specific. And after the third time, solving, showing your thinking, and using an answer statement just to make sure your answer makes sense, right? So these are two examples right here. There are 24 students in a third grade classroom. The teacher wants to divide students into groups of four. How many groups will there be? Hmm. So remember, I'm just doing this first story and I'm thinking in my head, what is this story about without any numbers? Just for right now, I can even clear out some of the numbers. So it's a little bit easier when we think about this. Let me get it darker. Color. All right, cool. So this is another way that students can think about it. They can just look at it without any numbers. There are students in third grade classroom. So we know it's about students who are in third grade and that the teacher wants to divide the students into groups of something. So groups of something. Very, very important. The next read. Um, there are 24 students in a third grade classroom. The teacher wants to divide students into groups of four. So now we're going to look for the quantity and the units. I already know it's about students, and I already know it's about putting them into groups of something. Groups of something is very important because that's not telling me how many groups, but how large or how many in each group. So the second read, the quantities and units. Let's pick another color. I know I see 24, that's a quantity, and the units are students. So, and then also I see into groups of four, and we're being real specific, into groups of four. So this is what we know. 24 students into groups of four. When I think about it like that, it's helping me realize that 24 is the total. And then if it says into groups of four, that means that each group is going to have four. So this is how many in each group. All right. So now for my third read, I'm going to actually read it again, take the question, and set it up so I can solve it. There are 24 students in a third grade classroom. The teacher wants to divide students into groups of four. How many groups will there be? So with that being said, I could basically say, hey, there are going to be, well, let me set up my answer statement. So how many groups will there be? There will be blank groups. That's what I'm trying to solve for. I'm trying to figure out how many groups. And I need to make sure whatever picture I show represents that as well. So I know the total is 24, and I'm dividing that by 4. And I'm trying to figure out how many groups there will be. So because it says into groups of 4, I'm just going to make groups of 4 up until I get up to 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is one group. 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the second group. 9, 10, 11, 12. This is the third group. 13, 14, 15, 16. This is my fourth group. 17, 18, 19, 20. And I'm making sure my groups are large and my X's are large also. 20. So I'm not at 24 total students yet, but I'm still making groups of 4 until I reach the total. 21, 22, 23, 24. So I finally reached 24, and also I have students, labeled outside just so they can make sure their skip counts are correct. It's always good to double check. 20, 20, and this is 24. So as you can see, how many groups do I have? There will be 6 groups. I have 6 groups. So 24 divided by 4 equals 6. And since we're already familiar with multiplication, a lot of students use multiplication now to help them out. But we need to make sure that we're showing the same thinking. Like the representation looks the same. The strategy looks the same. So there are 6 groups, 6 times, and there are 4 in each. 6 times 4 equals 24. Now, we're going to go to the second problem that looks a little bit similar, but in some ways it's different. On the bottom, it says there are 24 students in a 3rd grade classroom. The teacher wants to divide the students into 4 equal groups. Now, the first read, always trying to figure out what the story is about without any numbers. So let's just eliminate the numbers for now. Cross that out, and I cross that out. So I'm going to read it again. There are students in the 3rd grade classroom. Okay. The teacher wants to divide the students into equal groups. So this already has the 4 equal groups there for you to kind of help out because it matches with the story. Now, I know that there are students in the classroom, and then I know that the teacher is putting them into equal groups. Now, for our next read, there are 24 students in a 3rd grade classroom. The teacher wants to divide the students into 4 equal groups. How many students will be in each group? So, as you can see, it's very similar as the first one. 24 students. That's the quantity in the units. That's the total. And then students into 4 equal groups. Let's check how these are different in each story. In the first story, it said into groups of 4. That means there are 4 in each group. The second story says into 4 equal groups. It's already telling me how many groups. So let me read it for the 3rd time. There are 24 students in a 3rd grade classroom. The teacher wants to divide the students into 4 equal groups. How many students will be in each group? So my answer statement should use the same words that are in the question. So how many students will be in each group? There will be blank students. Students in each group. In each group. So that's what I'm trying to solve for. I can't say there would be 4 students in each group. Doesn't make sense. They have 4 groups already there. And if you did the first one correctly, you'll notice that some of the numbers are even similar as well. So the strategy that we use when we know the groups already is called fair share. That means I'm going to put 1 in each group until we run out of the total and everybody has the same amount. So this is fair share. Right? So I have 4 equal groups. The total is 24. So I'm going to put 1 in each, 1, and count up to 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So I reached the total, and now I'm going to look at what I have. I see 4 groups, so I can even set this up as a multiplication equation. 4 times, and how many do I have in each? I have 6. 4 times 6, we know the total is 24. But when we first started, all we knew that it was 24 divided by, we knew that it was 4 equal groups. So 24 divided by 4, and that would equal 6. So there would be 6 students in each group. All right, I know that was a lot, but those are the different division equations that you can see when you know how many groups there are, or when you know the size of the group, or how many are in each group. All right, hope this was helpful. This is Mr. Bonon. I'll catch you later. Peace.